I want you to pause for a moment and truly consider this. The fear you wake up with every morning, the subtle anxiety that clings to your thoughts when you stare into the uncertain horizon of tomorrow. What if I told you this fear is not your enemy? What if, rather than a curse to be escaped, it is a silent messenger, a profound signal rooted deep within the core of your existence? This fear, though it may feel like a shadow creeping in your mind, is an invitation, an existential call to meaning. To understand this, we must begin at the very root of what it means to be human, to live between the known past and the unknown future, to stand on the fragile precipice of time, suspended between what was and what may be. The fear of tomorrow is born from this very tension. It is the confrontation with the void, the abyss that stares back, asking us, what will you do with the time you have yet to live? You may feel this fear as a quiet trembling in your chest, or a restless unease that gnaws at your peace during the night. It may come in the form of thoughts racing uncontrollably, projecting scenarios that twist your mind into knots. It is the uncertainty of what lies ahead, the countless variables that escape your control. And yet, beneath this turmoil lies a more profound truth. Your consciousness is awake. You are aware, and this awareness, while frightening, is the very thing that opens the door to meaning. For it is only when we confront the unknown, when we face the possibility of nothingness, that we begin to seek what is truly worth living for. The fear of tomorrow is not an obstacle to happiness. It is a signpost pointing toward it. It beckons you to find purpose, to carve meaning from the raw material of your existence. Many try to silence this fear by distracting themselves, by clinging to routines or temporary comforts. But these are mere veils, ephemeral and fragile. The fear will return because it is a fundamental aspect of your being. Instead, I invite you to lean into it, to listen carefully to its message. What is it trying to tell you? What questions does it raise about your life? About the values you hold? You are not alone in this struggle. You are not alone in this struggle. Across the ages, men and women have wrestled with the same question. How to find meaning when the future is uncertain, when the weight of existence presses down with relentless force. I too have stood at this precipice, in the darkest of times, and discovered that meaning does not come from external circumstances. It emerges from our response to them. This is the essence of what I call logotherapy. The pursuit of meaning is the primary motivation in life. It is not happiness, nor pleasure, nor power, but meaning that sustains us when everything else fails. And it is through this pursuit that the fear of tomorrow can transform from a crippling weight into a guiding light. Imagine the fear of tomorrow as a gatekeeper, standing guard at the threshold of your becoming. Behind it lies uncertainty, yes, but also possibility. The choice you have at every moment is how to engage with this gatekeeper. Will you shrink back, paralyzed by dread? Or will you step forward, embracing the challenge and seeking the meaning hidden in the unfolding of your days? The answer lies not in the absence of fear, but in the courage to face it with authenticity and openness. Courage does not mean the absence of fear. It means the willingness to act despite it. And in that willingness, meaning is born. So, I ask you now, what meaning will you choose to create in the face of your fear? What legacy will your tomorrow hold? This question is not a burden, but an invitation to reclaim your life from the shadows of anxiety. Let us embark on this journey together, a journey inward, toward the depths of your being, and beyond the horizon of fear, toward the discovery of a meaning that can illuminate even the darkest tomorrows. The fear of tomorrow is a paradox, a torment and a teacher, a prison and a passage. It reminds us that we exist not as fixed statues, but as fluid beings suspended in time. Each moment that slips into the past is irrevocable, and each moment yet to come is shrouded in mystery. This tension is the very fabric of human existence, the raw edge of consciousness, where freedom and responsibility converge. Have you ever noticed how the anticipation of tomorrow can sometimes feel heavier than the present moment itself? The weight of all that might happen, all the possibilities and threats, bears down upon your spirit, as if the future holds a verdict on your worth. This feeling is not mere anxiety. It is a signal from the depths of your being, a call to reckon with the ultimate questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? How will I face the inevitable trials ahead? This fear is not simply about what may go wrong. It is about the significance we attribute to what lies ahead. It is a mirror reflecting the meaning, or absence of meaning, that our lives carry. When we are lost or disconnected, the fear becomes overwhelming, because without meaning, the future appears as a void. But when we anchor ourselves to a purpose, however fragile or nascent, the fear shifts its shape. It becomes a compass rather than a curse. It is important to understand that fear of the future is universal. No one escapes it, not even those who appear most confident or serene. Even the greatest thinkers, leaders, and sages have felt the chill of uncertainty. What sets some apart is not the absence of fear, but the attitude they adopt toward it. Consider the story of a man who endured unspeakable suffering, who was stripped of all external freedoms and thrown into the abyss of despair. Yet even in that darkest place, he found a meaning that transcended his immediate suffering. He realized that while he could not control his circumstances, he retained the freedom to choose his response. This insight, which I lived and taught, is the cornerstone of true resilience. The fear of tomorrow, then, can be transformed into a crucible of growth. It is in facing the unknown that we discover the strength of our spirit. It forces us to confront the essence of our humanity, the capacity to find meaning even in the midst of chaos. But how do we do this in practical terms? How do we approach tomorrow not as a source of dread, but as a canvas waiting for our deliberate brushstrokes? First, we must acknowledge the fear without judgment. To deny it is to give it power. To accept it is to disarm it. When you say to yourself, "I'm afraid of what tomorrow might bring," you are beginning a conversation with your own soul. This conversation opens the door to insight and transformation. Next, we must seek to understand what this fear reveals about our deepest values. Fear is always about something meaningful to us. It points to what we cherish, what we hope for, what we dread losing. Reflect on this. What is it precisely that you fear losing in the future? Freedom, love, purpose, identity. By naming the fear, you illuminate the path toward healing. Then you must actively choose to orient your life toward that meaning, however small the steps may be. Meaning is not found by passive waiting, but by engagement. It emerges when you dedicate yourself to causes, relationships, or personal growth that transcend the immediate moment of fear. Finally, embrace the mystery. The future is inherently unknowable, but it is also fertile ground for possibility. To live fully is to accept that uncertainty is not the enemy, but the condition of freedom itself. You do not need to have all the answers. You only need the courage to ask the questions and to move forward with intention. In this way, the fear of tomorrow becomes a sacred guide. It invites you to awaken from the numbness of routine, to awaken to the profound reality that your life is unfolding now, and with every breath, you have the power to infuse it with meaning. Remember this: meaning is not a luxury reserved for those with ease and certainty. It is a necessity forged in the fires of adversity and doubt. It is the beacon that shines brightest when the night is darkest. So, as you stand on the edge of your unknown tomorrow, know this: you are not helpless. You are a meaning maker, a creator of your own existence. The fear you feel is but the first step in a journey toward a deeper, richer life. Look closely at the fear of tomorrow, and you will see it is not simply a reaction to uncertainty. It is a confrontation with the void that lies at the heart of existence. It is the human soul's silent scream before the vast unknown, a raw encounter with the possibility of meaninglessness. This is why the fear feels so primal, because it challenges the very foundation upon which our lives rest. Yet, paradoxically, it is within this very confrontation that the seed of meaning is planted. When we stand face to face with nothingness, we are given a choice: to retreat into despair or to rise into responsibility. This responsibility is not a burden but a liberation, the freedom to craft significance in a world that offers no guarantees. Imagine the future as an empty canvas, daunting in its blankness yet inviting in its potential. The fear you feel is the trembling brush in your hand, uncertain of the first stroke. But it is the stroke itself, imperfect and vulnerable, that begins to shape the masterpiece of your life. Every human being carries this brush, whether they recognize it or not. To live authentically is to acknowledge the fear and still pick it up, to paint with courage despite the trembling. This act of creation is not grandiose or heroic in the traditional sense. It is quiet, humble, and deeply personal. It may be found in the decision to rise each morning with intention, to speak a word of kindness when silence feels safer, to hold on to hope when the world feels heavy. Do not underestimate these small acts. They are the threads from which the fabric of meaning is woven. And here lies another truth. The fear of tomorrow is also a teacher of presence. In fearing what is to come, we often forget to live what is now. The mind races into the future, conjuring shadows and specters that may never manifest. Yet, the only moment truly in our grasp is this one, the present breath, the beating heart, the now. To engage with the fear is to return continually to this present moment, to ground oneself in the reality that is rather than the anxiety that might be. This grounding is not denial of the future, but an acceptance of the limits of control. It is a practice of trust. Trust in your own capacity to meet whatever comes. Trust in the resilience of the human spirit. Trust in the unfolding mystery of life. Throughout history, the great existential thinkers have spoken to this paradox. They have shown us that life's meaning is not given but discovered, not imposed but embraced. The fear of tomorrow, when met with wisdom, becomes a gateway to this discovery. Perhaps the most profound lesson I have learned is that meaning is found not in the external world but in the internal attitude we adopt. It is in the stance we take towards suffering, uncertainty, and fear. You may ask, how can fear, often seen as weakness, become strength? How can anxiety about the future be a path to freedom? The answer lies in the recognition that fear signifies life itself. It shows we are engaged, aware, and alive. To deny this fear is to deny a part of ourselves. To embrace it is to embrace the fullness of being human. In your moments of greatest fear, you stand at the crossroads of despair and hope. The path you choose defines not only your tomorrow, but the essence of who you are. So I urge you, do not flee from your fear. Do not silence it with distractions or avoidance. Instead, welcome it as a companion on your journey, a signpost pointing to what matters most. Within the fear lies the invitation to find your unique meaning, to discover the values and purposes that will sustain you through uncertainty. Your life's meaning is waiting, not in a far-off future, but in the very act of facing tomorrow with open eyes and an open heart. In the quiet moments before dawn, when the world is still and the future looms large in your mind, the fear of tomorrow often whispers the loudest. It is then that you feel the weight of uncertainty pressing against your chest, a weight that can either suffocate or awaken you. But understand this fear is not a punishment. It is a profound signal from your very soul, calling you to awaken to the true nature of your existence. What is this nature, you ask? It is the nature of a being who is free. Free not because circumstances are favorable, but free because within the space between stimulus and response lies your power to choose meaning. You see, the fear of tomorrow is the shadow cast by this freedom. To have freedom is to face possibilities, and with possibilities come risks, unknowns, and yes, fear. But without this freedom, life would be a mere automatism, devoid of purpose, devoid of meaning. This freedom, this gift, is the wellspring of your dignity. It is what separates us from mere things, what invites us into the grand dance of creation with our own lives. So when you find yourself trembling before the uncertainty of tomorrow, know this: you are standing on sacred ground. The fear you feel is the echo of your freedom calling out for expression. It is the universe's way of reminding you that your life is a question, and tomorrow is the space in which you write your answer. But what answer will you write? Will you allow the fear to paralyze you, to shrink your world until it fits within the walls of anxiety and despair? Or will you dare to face the unknown with courage, transforming fear into a guide that points you toward what truly matters? The path is yours to choose. This choice is not made once but 1,000 times, in 1,000 small decisions each day. To wake up and breathe in the uncertainty, to smile at the questions that have no easy answers, to find meaning not despite the fear but because of it. Consider the metaphor of the sculptor and the marble. The marble is the future, unshaped, vast, intimidating in its blankness. The sculptor is you, holding tools forged from courage, wisdom, and intention. Each stroke you make is a decision, a commitment to meaning. The fear of ruining the work, of making a mistake, may tempt you to put down the chisel. But the masterpiece only emerges through the boldness of engagement. So too with your life. Meaning is not found by avoiding fear, but by wielding it as the impetus to create. In this journey, you will encounter moments of despair, moments when the shadows seem too dense and the weight too great. These moments are inevitable. But even in the darkest night, a single star of meaning can guide you forward. Remember that suffering, when met with purpose, can become a portal to growth. The fear of tomorrow often arises from anticipating suffering, loss, or failure. Yet within the anticipation lies a hidden gift, the chance to prepare your soul, to align your values, and to stand ready for whatever comes. You may feel alone in this struggle, but you are part of a vast human tapestry woven with stories of courage and meaning. Across time and space, countless souls have faced the unknown and emerged transformed. Their stories whisper to you now. Meaning is not found in certainty, but in the courage to face uncertainty. Meaning is not a destination, but a journey. And so, as you stand at the threshold of tomorrow, hear the call of your fear. Let it awaken you. Let it challenge you. Let it lead you to a deeper understanding of your freedom, your responsibility, and your capacity for meaning. The fear of tomorrow is not a barrier. It is a doorway. Walk through it with open eyes and an open heart. Your journey toward meaning begins here. There is a quiet revolution that begins when you no longer see the fear of tomorrow as your enemy, but as your most profound teacher. It is a teacher that demands honesty. A brutal honesty about who you are, what you want, and what you are willing to risk in the face of uncertainty. Because fear strips away all pretense. It reveals the raw contours of your soul, the place where your truest meaning resides. It is here, in this sacred place, that you must ask yourself the hardest question. What is worth my suffering? For the fear of tomorrow often disguises the anticipation of pain, loss, or failure. But suffering, when met with meaning, ceases to be mere suffering. It becomes a crucible in which the soul is forged, tempered, and strengthened. The fear of tomorrow whispers to you not just about danger, but about possibility. The possibility that your life can break open and reveal a deeper purpose than you ever imagined. This is the paradox of existence. To be fully alive is to live with the knowledge of death and the uncertainty of what comes next, yet to still choose meaning and hope. There will be days when the fear seems unbearable, when the weight of it threatens to crush your spirit. But it is in those moments that the light of meaning shines the brightest. It is a flame kindled by your refusal to surrender, by your choice to face the unknown with courage. You are not defined by your fears, but by the meaning you choose in response to them. This choice is the essence of your freedom. Freedom that cannot be taken away, no matter what tomorrow brings. To live without meaning is to drift like a leaf on the wind, tossed by forces beyond your control. To live with meaning is to grasp the stem of that leaf, to direct your flight with intention and purpose. The fear of tomorrow is the wind itself. Uncontrollable, unpredictable, but also the very force that can carry you to heights you never dreamed possible. Ask yourself, what gives my life meaning? What vision of tomorrow inspires me enough to overcome my fear? The answers will not come from outside, but from within, from the depths of your own heart and soul. These answers are personal and unique. They may come in the form of relationships, creative endeavors, spiritual beliefs, or a commitment to justice and service. Whatever they are your lifeline, a beacon guiding you through the fog of uncertainty. When you anchor yourself to meaning, fear loses its tyrannical grip. It becomes a shadow that moves with you, sometimes looming large, sometimes shrinking into the background. But you no longer need to be controlled by it. Instead, you harness it. You use it as a reminder of your humanity, of the preciousness of life, and of the urgency to live fully. Consider for a moment the concept of responsibility. To have meaning is to have responsibility, not burdensome, but liberate. It is the responsibility to create, to love, to persevere, to grow. The fear of tomorrow calls you to accept this responsibility. It calls you to wake up from complacency, to stop living on autopilot, to engage with life in its full complexity. This engagement is an act of courage and defiance. It is a declaration that you will not be a passive victim of circumstance, but an active participant in the unfolding story of your existence. Meaning is not a fixed destination, but a journey marked by moments of clarity and confusion, triumph and setback, hope and despair. The fear of tomorrow is the shadow that accompanies you on this journey. It reminds you that the path is uncertain, that the stakes are high, but also that the journey itself is what gives life its deepest significance. Do not seek to eliminate this fear, for in doing so, you would also erase the possibility of meaning. Instead, cultivate a relationship with it, a relationship based on respect, curiosity, and courage. Ask yourself, what does this fear want to teach me? How can it guide me toward a life of greater authenticity and purpose? The answers will not come all at once. They will unfold gradually, in the quiet moments of reflection, in the struggles of daily life, in the encounters with others who walk similar paths. You are part of a vast human story, a story of seeking, suffering, and ultimately finding meaning in the face of the unknown. Let this knowledge be a comfort and a challenge. A comfort because you are never truly alone. A challenge because the quest for meaning requires your full presence and commitment. Tomorrow will come as it always does. It will bring with it uncertainty, change, and the inevitable shadow of fear. But it will also bring opportunity. The opportunity to live meaningfully, to love deeply, to grow courageously. This is the gift that the fear of tomorrow offers. The chance to transform anxiety into purpose, paralysis into action, and despair into hope. As you stand on the edge of the unknown, remember this. The future is not a threat to be feared, but a canvas to be painted with the colors of your meaning. The brush is in your hand. The choice is yours. Will you let fear hold you back, or will you let meaning propel you forward? The journey is yours to make, and it begins now. To truly embrace the fear of tomorrow is to embark on an inner pilgrimage, a journey to the very core of your existence where meaning is both sought and created. It is a path that demands vulnerability, for in vulnerability we find our true strength. To admit fear is not weakness. It is the first courageous step toward transformation. This fear asks you to look beyond the surface of daily distractions, beyond the noise of routine, into the quiet spaces where your soul speaks. It beckons you to face the profound question that humanity has wrestled with since the dawn of consciousness. What makes life worth living? You may search for answers in books, in philosophies, or in the words of great thinkers, but the ultimate answer lies within you. Each life is unique, and so too is its meaning. The fear of tomorrow is the intimate reminder that you are the author of your story, and tomorrow's pages are waiting for your hand. When anxiety about the future arises, pause to reflect. What meaning could this moment of fear reveal? Is it a call to care more deeply, to act more intentionally, to connect more authentically? Fear is a profound teacher in disguise, showing you where your values lie and what you truly cherish. The courage to face fear is often born in the small, everyday choices. To rise despite weariness, to speak despite doubt, to hope despite despair. These choices accumulate like drops of water, slowly carving the contours of a meaningful life. Do not expect to eliminate fear. Rather, learn to live alongside it as a constant companion. Like the ocean tides, it will ebb and flow, sometimes roaring loudly, sometimes whispering softly. But your anchored purpose will be your safe harbor. It is here, in this harbor of meaning, that you find resilience. Resilience is not a mere bouncing back, but a deep transformation. It is the ability to meet life's storms with a steady heart, to find light even in the darkest nights. Look to the stories of those who have walked this path before you, those who faced unimaginable suffering yet found meaning beyond their pain. Their legacy is a testament to the power of human spirit and the possibility that meaning can emerge from the very heart of fear. Remember that meaning is not always grand or heroic. Often, it is found in quiet moments. A shared smile, a simple act of kindness, a moment of gratitude. These small sparks ignite a flame that can sustain you through the unknown. In a world that often seems chaotic and unpredictable, meaning is the anchor that keeps you grounded. It provides direction when the map is unclear and hope when the road seems long. The fear of tomorrow challenges you to take responsibility for this meaning, to nurture it, to defend it, to live it fully. It calls you to act not out of obligation, but out of love, for yourself, for others, for life itself. This responsibility is a sacred trust, one that transcends time and circumstance. It is the legacy you leave, the imprint of your existence on the world. As you face the uncertainty of tomorrow, carry this trust with you. Let it be a source of strength and inspiration. Know that every moment is an opportunity to choose meaning anew. The future is not a fixed destiny, but a living possibility. It is a canvas awaiting your touch, a story awaiting your voice, a journey awaiting your steps. The fear you feel is a reminder of your freedom, the freedom to choose, to create, to become. This freedom is the essence of what it means to be truly alive. So embrace your fear. Greet it as an old friend who has come to remind you of your power and your purpose. Let it guide you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and the world. And when the dawn breaks and tomorrow arrives, meet it not with dread but with open arms and a courageous heart. For within the fear of tomorrow lies the sacred call to live a life of meaning, a life that no uncertainty can diminish, no shadow can obscure. Your journey toward this life begins now. In the silence of your deepest contemplation, consider this. The fear of tomorrow is not a mere reaction to the unknown. It is a reflection of your profound desire to live meaningfully. It surfaces because you recognize, even if subconsciously, that the future holds the unfolding story of your purpose. This fear is the echo of your soul reaching for significance, struggling to grasp what lies just beyond the horizon of certainty. This tension between fear and meaning is the heartbeat of existence. It pulses through every human life, reminding us that to live is to risk disappointment, loss, and pain, but also to risk growth, connection, and joy. The paradox is that fear and hope are intertwined, inseparable partners in the dance of life. When you feel the trembling of fear, invite yourself to lean into it gently. Rather than pushing it away, allow it to speak. What is it revealing about your unspoken dreams, your unmet needs, your hidden longings? Fear often masks these truths, but it also carries them like a fragile flame waiting to be nurtured. To live authentically is to face this fear with openness and curiosity. It is to become a seeker, one who does not shy away from uncertainty but embraces it as the fertile soil from which meaning grows. This requires courage, not the absence of fear, but the resolve to move forward despite it. Imagine yourself as a traveler on a winding path through an ancient forest. The trees are thick, and the way is obscured by mist. The fear of what lies ahead may cause hesitation, yet each step forward reveals new vistas, new possibilities. The path is not always clear, but with each step, you claim your journey. The future is like this forest, unpredictable, vast, sometimes daunting, but also rich with the promise of discovery. Your fear is a companion on this path, signaling that you are alive and engaged. This journey demands patience. Meaning does not always arrive in grand epiphanies. Often, it reveals itself in the quiet persistence of daily life. A conversation that opens your heart, a decision that aligns with your values, a moment of stillness that reconnects you to your true self. Remember that meaning is not a possession but a practice. It requires tending like a garden that must be watered, pruned, and protected. The fear of tomorrow is a reminder to care for this garden, to nurture the seeds of purpose and hope within you. You may find comfort in the knowledge that uncertainty is a universal human experience. Every person, regardless of status or achievement, wrestles with the unknown. This shared experience connects us in profound ways, reminding us that our struggles are part of a larger human story. In this story, the fear of tomorrow can become a source of solidarity, a thread that weaves individuals into a community of seekers. By sharing your journey, your doubts, and your hopes, you build bridges that transcend isolation. It is through connection that meaning flourishes. Relationships, whether with family, friends, or even strangers, provide the soil in which the seeds of purpose take root. Love, compassion, and empathy transform fear into a catalyst for growth. As you navigate the uncertainty of tomorrow, consider the power of choice. You may not control all external circumstances, but you always control your attitude and response. This choice is the wellspring of meaning. You can choose to see the future as a threat or as an opportunity. You can choose despair or hope. You can choose to be a passive victim or an active creator of your life's narrative. This freedom is your birthright. It is the gift and the responsibility bestowed upon every human being. The fear of tomorrow challenges you to exercise this freedom with courage and wisdom. It invites you to live deliberately with intention and awareness. To do so is to transform fear from a prison into a portal, from a source of paralysis into a wellspring of creativity. When you embrace this transformation, you step into the fullness of your humanity. You become an artist of your existence, painting your future with strokes of meaning, purpose, and love. No matter how daunting the unknown, no matter how heavy the burden of fear, your capacity to choose meaning remains. This capacity is unbreakable, eternal, and uniquely yours. As this act draws to a close, carry with you this truth. The fear of tomorrow is not a shadow to flee, but a light to follow. It illuminates the path toward a life deeply lived, richly experienced, and profoundly meaningful. The journey ahead may be uncertain, but your purpose is clear. Let your fear be the compass that guides you, not the chain that binds you. Walk forward with an open heart, a clear mind, and unwavering resolve. For in the fearless embrace of tomorrow's uncertainty, you will find the meaning that sustains your soul. And now, as you stand on this threshold, the edge between the known and the unknown, between yesterday's shadow and tomorrow's promise, remember this: fear is not the end of your story. It is the invitation to begin anew. In the trembling of your heart, in the silence that follows your deepest doubts, there lies a sacred truth. You possess a freedom that no circumstance can take away. The freedom to find meaning, to choose your attitude, to rise. No matter how dark the night, the dawn is waiting. No matter how heavy the burden, the soul is resilient. No matter how uncertain the future, your purpose remains. The fear of tomorrow is not your prison, it is your passage. Your life's meaning is not hidden in the certainty of the future, but in the courage to face its uncertainty. So step forward, not as a victim of fear, but as a creator of meaning. This is your moment, your call, your awakening. Embrace it. For beyond the fear of tomorrow lies the boundless horizon of your becoming. And with every breath, you write the story of your meaning. The future often feels like a vast, uncharted ocean, endless and mysterious, with waves that rise and fall beyond our control. When we stand on the shore, gazing out at that expanse, it's natural to feel a mix of awe and dread. The fear of tomorrow is born in this moment, where the familiar meets the unknown, where security slips away and uncertainty takes hold. But it is in this very encounter that the essence of human existence reveals itself. You see, to be human is to live between time's paradoxes, the past that shapes us, the future that beckons, and the present where our freedom unfolds. The fear of tomorrow is the emotional response to this tension, a signal from the depths of our being that something precious hangs in the balance. Our meaning. This fear is not merely a psychological quirk or a biological response. It is a profound existential reality. It is the soul's way of acknowledging the fragile and fleeting nature of life. It whispers to us that time is limited, that our days are numbered, and that the choices we make now ripple into eternity. And yet, in this whisper lies a call to awaken, a call to find purpose that transcends circumstance. The fear of tomorrow invites us to stop running from uncertainty, and instead to engage with it deeply, courageously, and authentically. Imagine a sculptor with a block of marble. The future is that marble, raw, unformed, and full of potential. The fear you feel is like the initial hesitation before the first strike of the chisel. It questions whether the stone can yield the beauty hidden within, whether your efforts will be enough. But it is precisely in overcoming this hesitation that creation begins. Each moment you face your fear, you carve meaning into the rawness of the unknown. The choices you make, the values you uphold, the love you give, all shape the sculpture of your life. This process is not without struggle. Fear can be paralyzing, and the weight of uncertainty can seem unbearable. But consider this: every human being who has ever lived has stood at this same crossroads, wrestling with doubt, anxiety, and hope. From the greatest philosophers to the simplest souls, the question remains: How do we find meaning when the future is veiled in darkness? The answer lies not in the elimination of fear, but in the transformation of it. When fear is met with understanding and courage, it becomes a guide rather than a jailer. To transform fear, begin with awareness. Notice when your thoughts drift toward worry about tomorrow. Acknowledge the emotion without judgment. Say to yourself, I see you, fear. I feel your presence. This simple act disarms fear's power and opens space for reflection. Next, ask yourself, what does this fear protect? Often beneath the surface, fear guards what we hold dear, our dreams, relationships, health, or sense of self. Naming these treasures connects you to your deepest values. From this place of connection, you can begin to act. Meaning is found in engagement, in the commitment to live according to your values even when the path is unclear. This engagement might take many forms: reaching out to a loved one, dedicating yourself to a passion, advocating for justice, or simply choosing kindness in moments of difficulty. Each act is a declaration that you will not be controlled by fear, but guided by meaning. Remember that meaning is not something distant or abstract. It is born in the everyday and the small choices that align with your truth. The fear of tomorrow then becomes a sacred teacher, one that invites you to live fully, to love deeply, and to create boldly. It asks you to embrace uncertainty as the condition of freedom, and to trust in your capacity to navigate life's mysteries. In doing so, you reclaim your power. You become not a victim of the future, but its author, crafting a story of purpose amidst unpredictability. As you continue on this journey, hold this truth close. The fear of tomorrow is both a shadow and a light. It reveals the limits of control, but also the boundlessness of meaning. To walk with this duality is to live authentically, with eyes wide open, heart engaged, and spirit unyielding. So, when the fear comes, welcome it. Listen to its message, and then, with steady hands and a courageous heart, begin again to sculpt the masterpiece of your life. The journey of confronting tomorrow's fear is also a journey inward, a pilgrimage into the landscape of your own soul. It calls you to explore not only what lies ahead, but who you are beneath the surface. The fears you have hidden, the hopes you have buried, the meaning you have yet to uncover. This inward exploration is no easy task. It demands honesty, an unflinching gaze into your own vulnerabilities. Yet, in this honest self-examination, you begin to see that fear is often a veil masking deeper truths. It is a call to authenticity, to strip away illusions and confront the essence of your being. When you face your fear in this way, you discover that it is intertwined with another powerful force: hope. Hope is not naive optimism, but a profound trust in the possibility of meaning even amidst uncertainty. It is the light that flickers in the darkest night, the seed of resilience that grows in the hardest soil. This hope is not given. It is chosen. Each day, you decide whether to nurture it or let it fade. This choice is an act of freedom and defiance, a refusal to be defeated by anxiety or despair. Consider the metaphor of the phoenix. The phoenix is consumed by fire but rises again from its ashes, transformed and renewed. Your fear of tomorrow can be that fire, painful, consuming, but ultimately purifying. Through this fire, you can emerge stronger, wiser, and more deeply connected to your purpose. The process of rising is gradual. It requires patience with yourself, compassion for your struggles, and persistence in your... There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and even regression. But each attempt is a step forward on the path of becoming. This path is not solitary. Though the fear of tomorrow can feel isolating, know that countless others share this experience. Across cultures, times, and circumstances, human beings have grappled with the same existential questions. In this shared humanity, there is profound comfort. It reminds us that our struggles are part of a larger tapestry, a collective search for meaning that binds us together. Community becomes a wellspring of strength. In relationships where vulnerability is met with acceptance, fear loses its power to isolate. Instead, it becomes a bridge to deeper connection and understanding. Seek out these connections. Share your fears and hopes. Listen to the stories of others. In doing so, you participate in the ancient human tradition of bearing witness to each other's journeys. This witness is an act of love and courage. It affirms that you are not alone, that your fear does not define you, and that your search for meaning is sacred. The future remains uncertain, but in the embrace of community, you find a foundation to stand upon. Together, you can face the unknown with greater resilience and hope. Another pillar of navigating tomorrow's fear is cultivating presence. Often, our anxiety is fueled by dwelling on what might come, by imagining worst-case scenarios, or by obsessing over outcomes beyond our control. Presence calls us back to the now, the only moment where life truly unfolds. It is in the present that we find our agency, our freedom to choose meaning. Through mindfulness and contemplation, you can learn to anchor yourself in this moment. Notice your breath, the sensations in your body, the rhythm of your thoughts. These are the threads of the present weaving a tapestry of awareness. This awareness does not eliminate fear, but it changes your relationship to it. Instead of being swept away by worry, you observe it with curiosity and compassion. In this space, fear loses its grip. It becomes one element among many in the vast landscape of your experience. With practice, presence becomes a sanctuary, a refuge you can return to whenever tomorrow's uncertainty threatens to overwhelm. It also opens the door to gratitude. In the midst of fear, gratitude grounds you in what is good, real, and enduring. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to despair. It reminds you of the gifts that surround you, the moments of joy and connection, the simple wonders of existence. By cultivating gratitude, you weave meaning into the fabric of your life, even when the future is unclear. As you embrace presence and gratitude, you build a foundation of strength and peace. This foundation supports you as you step forward into the unknown. Remember, the fear of tomorrow is not a sign of failure or weakness. It is a testament to your depth as a human being, to your capacity to care, to hope, and to seek meaning. It is a mirror reflecting the courage within you, the courage to face uncertainty and to choose purpose anyway. So let this fear be your companion and your teacher. Walk with it, learn from it, and let it lead you to the fullest expression of your humanity. The path is open before you. The future calls with its mystery and promise. Step forward with an open heart and a steady spirit. Your journey toward meaning continues. As you continue to walk this path of meaning amidst the fear of tomorrow, it becomes clear that the essence of life is not about avoiding fear, but about how you respond to it. Fear can either imprison you in a cage of hesitation or become the wind that propels your sails forward. The choice is profoundly yours. This choice lies in your attitude, an inner stance you cultivate through mindful reflection and deliberate action. Viktor Frankl often spoke about the last of human freedoms, the freedom to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Even when the world around you is uncertain, you retain the power to decide what your fear will meet. Will it be a signal to retreat or a summons to deeper courage? Will it diminish your spirit or ignite a flame of resolve? The fear of tomorrow holds no inherent power. It is your interpretation and response that shape its impact. This perspective invites a shift from seeing fear as an obstacle to viewing it as an opportunity. It is an opportunity to affirm your values, to engage fully with your existence, and to transcend the confines of anxiety. Imagine a tightrope walker high above the ground. The fear of falling is ever present, yet it does not paralyze her. Instead, it heightens her awareness, sharpens her focus, and deepens her presence. In the balance between fear and purpose, she finds grace. Your life is such a tightrope walk. The future is the abyss below, the past the safety net that cannot fully catch you, and your meaning is the balance that keeps you moving forward. Balance does not mean the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. It is a dance between vulnerability and strength, uncertainty and trust. In this dance, you learn to move with the rhythms of life rather than against them. You accept that some things are beyond your control while embracing the power you do have, the power to find meaning in each step. The fear of tomorrow also calls you to expand your vision beyond the self. Meaning often emerges not from inward contemplation alone, but from your engagement with the world around you. Consider the ways in which your actions, no matter how small, ripple outward and touch others. A kind word, a moment of patience, a commitment to justice. These acts create meaning not only for you, but for the collective human story. When you realize that your meaning is woven into the lives of others, fear takes on a different texture. It becomes a shared burden, a collective challenge, and a communal source of hope. This realization invites you to contribute, to give of yourself in ways that transcend personal anxiety and connect you to a larger purpose. Meaning is thus both deeply personal and profoundly relational. It grounds you in your individuality while connecting you to the vast web of humanity. In the face of tomorrow's fear, this dual awareness becomes a wellspring of resilience. You are both a solitary traveler and a member of a vast community. Both alone and together, you carry the torch of meaning forward. Embrace this paradox. Let it guide you as you navigate uncertainty. The fear of tomorrow will persist, but so will your capacity to find and create meaning. This capacity is not static. It grows as you nurture it. Like a muscle, it strengthens through practice, challenge, and reflection. Cultivate it daily. Engage in acts that resonate with your values. Surround yourself with people who inspire and support you. Seek out experiences that deepen your understanding. These practices build a reservoir of meaning that sustains you through the inevitable storms of life. Remember that meaning is not always grand or heroic. Sometimes it is found in the quiet moments, the shared laughter with a friend, the dedication to a craft, the simple beauty of a sunset. These moments accumulate, forming the mosaic of a life well lived. The fear of tomorrow then becomes a backdrop against which your meaning shines more brightly. It gives contrast to your joys, depth to your relationships, and urgency to your dreams. So, as you continue this journey, hold fast to the truth that meaning is your compass in the face of fear. Let it orient your thoughts, guide your actions, and anchor your spirit. The future is uncertain, but your meaning is not. Step forward with confidence, knowing that in the dance between fear and meaning, you are the choreographer of your life story. Your journey continues, and with each step, you draw closer to the fullest expression of your being. As you continue to reflect on the fear of tomorrow, consider this. Fear often emerges from the illusion of separation. It whispers that you are alone against the vast unknown, that you must face the future unaided and unarmed. But this is a mirage, a veil that obscures the profound interconnectedness of all things. You are woven into the fabric of existence, a thread in a vast tapestry stretching beyond time and space. Your fears, your hopes, your very being resonate with the pulse of life itself. To acknowledge this connection is to dissolve the isolation that fear fosters. When you recognize your place in the larger whole, the fear of tomorrow begins to shift. It becomes less a threat and more a call to participate, to engage with life not as a solitary struggle, but as a shared journey. This shift invites humility and awe. It invites you to see yourself as both fragile and mighty, limited yet expansive, vulnerable yet resilient. Humility arises from knowing that you cannot control everything. Awe emerges from glimpsing the mystery and beauty that underlie existence. In this humility and awe, fear finds a new context. It becomes a part of the sacred dance of life, a necessary rhythm that invites you to greater presence and deeper meaning. This perspective changes your relationship to uncertainty. Instead of fearing what you cannot know, you begin to embrace it as an invitation to wonder. Wonder is the antidote to despair. It opens the heart and mind to possibility, to creativity, to the sacredness of the unknown. To cultivate wonder, engage with the world with fresh eyes. Notice the patterns in nature, the kindness in strangers, the beauty in ordinary moments. Let these experiences remind you that life is a mystery unfolding in every breath. In this unfolding, fear is not an enemy but a guidepost, a signal pointing you toward growth, transformation, and deeper understanding. The fear of tomorrow thus becomes a spiritual practice. It calls you to mindfulness, to presence, to gratitude. It asks you to live fully in each moment, to cherish the gift of existence, and to pursue meaning with passion and perseverance. In embracing this practice, you build a life rooted not in certainty, but in faith. Faith in yourself, in others, and in the unfolding story of life. This faith is not blind optimism, but a grounded trust born from experience, reflection, and connection. It sustains you when the future feels dark and unknown. As you cultivate this faith, remember that meaning is not a destination, but a journey. It is not a prize to be won, but a path to be walked. This path is lined with challenges. Yes, but also with joy, love, and discovery. It invites you to grow beyond your fears and limitations into the fullness of who you are meant to be. The fear of tomorrow is part of this growth. It is the pressure that shapes the diamond, the wind that tests the sailor's skill, the fire that purifies the gold. Without it, meaning loses its edge, its urgency, its power. So welcome the fear. See it for what it is, a sacred threshold, a call to courage, a gateway to transformation. And as you cross this threshold, carry with you the knowledge that you are not alone. You are part of a vast and ancient human story. A story of seekers and dreamers, of fighters and healers, of those who dared to face the unknown and create meaning in the face of fear. This story is your story. Your life is a chapter waiting to be written with bravery, wisdom, and love. The fear of tomorrow is not a curse, but a blessing, a sign that you are awake, aware, and alive. Embrace it. Learn from it. Let it guide you to the highest expression of your humanity. And when the dawn breaks, you will stand ready, not because the future is safe or certain, but because your meaning is sure and your spirit is strong. The journey continues. In the face of the fear of tomorrow, one often searches for certainty, a solid ground that will hold firm amid the shifting sands of time. Yet, life's nature is impermanence, a constant flow that resists fixation. To seek absolute certainty is to chase a mirage that retreats as you approach. True strength, then, lies not in clinging but in adapting, in learning to navigate the waves of change with grace and intention. This understanding invites a radical reorientation. Instead of demanding certainty from the future, invite the future to reveal its mysteries while you stand rooted in the present. The fear that arises is not a signal of weakness, but a call to cultivate resilience, the capacity to bend without breaking, to absorb shocks and emerge transformed. Resilience is not an innate trait, but a skill, forged through experience and reflection. It is nourished by meaning, the understanding that your life has purpose beyond immediate circumstances. Meaning becomes the lens through which you view adversity, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. When you cultivate resilience through meaning, you become like a mighty tree. Storms may batter your branches, winds may howl, but your roots, anchored deep in purpose, hold fast. You sway, but do not fall. This metaphor is more than poetic. It reflects the profound psychological truth Viktor Frankl revealed through his own suffering. Even in the darkest camps of history, those who clung to meaning found a strength that surpassed physical hardship. Your fear of tomorrow, then, can be the soil in which your resilience grows. It challenges you to deepen your roots and broaden your reach. Consider how your relationships, passions, and values form a network of support. These connections become the scaffolding that holds your life together when uncertainty threatens to unravel it. Within this network lies another key to facing the unknown: acceptance. Acceptance does not mean resignation or giving up. It means acknowledging reality as it is without denial or resistance. This acceptance frees you from the exhausting battle against what cannot be changed. It allows you to conserve energy and focus on what you can influence: your attitude, your actions, your meaning. In the dance of acceptance and action, you find a rhythm that carries you forward. You accept what is and act on what can be. This rhythm creates harmony between your inner world and external circumstances. The fear of tomorrow may never fully disappear, but in this harmony, it loses its ability to control you. Instead, it becomes a companion on your journey, a reminder of your humanity and your freedom. Freedom is the ultimate paradox. It comes with responsibility and challenge, but it is also the source of your dignity and power. Each moment offers a choice: to be enslaved by fear or to be liberated by meaning. This choice is the foundation of existential courage, the courage to live authentically, to face the unknown, and to create a life worth living. As you reflect on your own journey, Remember that meaning is not found in isolation but in engagement. With yourself, with others, and with the world. This engagement demands vulnerability, the willingness to be seen, to risk, to hope. Yet vulnerability is the birthplace of connection and growth. It opens the door to empathy, compassion, and love. These qualities are the true antidotes to fear. They build bridges where isolation once stood. By embracing vulnerability, you transform fear into a catalyst for deeper relationships and richer meaning. In the end, the fear of tomorrow is not a wall, but a doorway. It invites you to step through and into a life defined not by avoidance, but by courageous embrace. This embrace is the essence of the human spirit, a spirit that, despite uncertainty, chooses to hope, to love, and to find meaning. So as you stand on the cusp of tomorrow, take a deep breath. Feel the fear, yes, but also feel the power that comes from choosing meaning. Let this power be your guide and your strength. Your story is unfolding, and within it lies the profound beauty of a life lived fully. To live with the fear of tomorrow is to confront the very essence of what it means to be human. It is to stand at the crossroads of hope and despair, certainty and mystery, light and shadow. This confrontation is not a momentary event, but an ongoing dialogue, a conversation between your deepest fears and your highest aspirations. Within this dialogue lies the possibility of transformation. Fear, when met with understanding and meaning, can become a crucible that refines your spirit. It burns away illusions and exposes the core of your being, revealing the values and truths that truly matter. This process requires patience and compassion for yourself and for the journey. It is easy to become discouraged or overwhelmed, to want to flee from discomfort. Yet it is through embracing discomfort that growth occurs. Imagine a river cutting through rock, not by force, but by persistence. Over time, the water shapes the stone, creating canyons and valleys. Similarly, your persistent engagement with fear and uncertainty carves pathways to deeper meaning. This engagement is a choice you make each day. You can choose to confront fear with openness or to avoid it through distraction or denial. The former leads to freedom, the latter to stagnation. When you choose engagement, you affirm your role as the author of your life. You acknowledge that while you cannot control every circumstance, you can control your response. This response is the birthplace of meaning. It is where your values meet your actions and where your purpose takes form. As you navigate this terrain, seek out practices that nourish your soul: meditation, reflection, creative expression, service to others. These practices anchor you in the present and connect you to something greater than yourself. They cultivate the inner resources needed to face uncertainty with grace and courage. Remember also the power of narrative. The stories you tell yourself about fear and the future shape your reality. Choose stories that empower rather than diminish. Tell yourself that fear is a sign of growth, that uncertainty is an invitation to explore, that meaning is always within reach. These stories become self-fulfilling prophecies, guiding your thoughts and actions toward hope and resilience. In moments of doubt, return to these narratives. Let them be your compass when the path seems unclear. Finally, hold on to the knowledge that your life has inherent worth and significance. This worth is not dependent on achievements or external validation, but is rooted in your very existence. You are a unique expression of life's mystery, with a role that only you can fulfill. The fear of tomorrow challenges you to live into this role fully, to bring forth your gifts, to love boldly, and to face the unknown with an open heart. As this act draws to a close, carry this truth within you. Fear and meaning are intertwined threads in the fabric of your life. Together, they weave a tapestry of depth, complexity, and beauty. Embrace both. Let fear sharpen your awareness and meaning deepen your resolve. The future awaits, full of unknowns and possibilities. Step forward with courage, knowing that in your journey lies the profound expression of what it means to be truly alive. In the quiet moments when fear of tomorrow stirs within you, pause and listen, not with an ear attuned to panic, but with a heart open to wisdom. That fear is a messenger, carrying truths both ancient and deeply personal. It reminds you that life is fragile, precious, and fleeting. that time is a river flowing onward, never to be held, that you are part of a vast story both larger than yourself and intimately your own. This messenger invites you to awaken from complacency, to step into the fullness of your existence. It challenges you to live not beneath the surface of routine and distraction, but at the vibrant edge of awareness and intention. Imagine standing on a mountain peak as dawn breaks, the sky a canvas of possibility, the air crisp with newness. The fear of tomorrow is the chill that sharpens your senses, the reminder that this moment is a gift, brief and radiant. What will you do with this gift? Will you bury it in the shadows of fear, or unwrap it with curiosity and hope? Your answer lies not in grand declarations, but in simple choices made moment to moment. To breathe deeply, to act kindly, to embrace uncertainty with grace. These choices accumulate, forming the mosaic of a meaningful life. It is in this mosaic that you find your true self, beyond labels, fears, and doubts. You find the wellspring of courage that rises when you face the unknown with openness. Consider how the natural world embodies this courage. The tree that bends in the storm does not resist the wind, but moves with it, finding strength and flexibility. The river that carves valleys does so not by force, but by persistence and adaptation. You too can embody this resilience. By accepting the fear of tomorrow as part of your journey, you allow yourself to grow and transform. This growth is not linear or easy. It is often marked by setbacks and struggles, but each challenge is a step deeper into the mystery of meaning. It is a reminder that life's greatest gifts often emerge from its greatest trials. As you walk this path, cultivate compassion for yourself and others. Recognize that fear is a universal experience, shared across time and culture. This recognition fosters connection and belonging, which are essential to meaning. In the presence of compassion, fear loses its isolating power and becomes a bridge to empathy and understanding. Moreover, let gratitude be your companion. Gratitude turns the lens of your attention toward what is good and sustaining. Even in uncertainty, it reveals the light that flickers in the darkest times and the beauty woven into everyday moments. Through gratitude, your heart expands and your capacity to face fear grows. Finally, embrace the paradox at the heart of existence. The future is unknown and yet filled with possibility. Fear is real and yet a doorway to freedom. Meaning is elusive and yet always within reach. This paradox is the essence of life itself. To live fully is to live within this tension, with courage, curiosity, and grace. As Act 1 concludes, carry these reflections like a lantern into the night. Let them illuminate your path through the shadows of fear toward the dawn of meaning. Remember, the fear of tomorrow is not a barrier, but a beckoning. It calls you to awaken, to engage, and to become the author of your own story. Step forward, then, with open eyes and an open heart. The journey toward meaning continues, and it begins anew with each breath. There's a moment in every life when the weight of the unknown presses so heavily that it feels unbearable. The fear of tomorrow becomes a storm raging within the mind and heart, threatening to drown hope and silence the voice of meaning. Yet, it is precisely in this moment of tempest that the human spirit reveals its greatest strength. This strength is not born from denial of fear, but from its acceptance. It is the courage to face the storm head-on, to stand firm amidst the chaos, and to trust in the possibility of calm beyond the storm. Think of the lighthouse standing tall on a rocky shore. It does not command the waves or control the winds, but it offers a steady beacon of light to guide weary travelers through the darkness. You, too, can be such a beacon, steady, unwavering, a source of meaning in the swirling uncertainty of tomorrow. To become this beacon, you must cultivate inner clarity. Clarify what matters most to you, your values, your passions, your commitments. These are the foundation upon which meaning is built. When fear threatens to overwhelm, return to these foundations. Let them anchor you. In moments of doubt, ask yourself, what is worth living for, even in the face of fear? What legacy do I wish to leave? What truths do I hold sacred? These questions reconnect you to purpose and dissolve the power of fear. Furthermore, recognize that fear often distorts reality, amplifying worst-case scenarios and blinding you to possibility. Challenge these distortions by seeking evidence of resilience, growth, and hope in your life and in the world. Remember stories of those who faced unimaginable adversity yet found meaning and joy. Let their courage inspire your own. Meaning is also found in creativity, the act of bringing something new into existence despite uncertainty. Whether through art, relationships, work, or small daily acts, creativity affirms life and counters fear. Allow yourself to be creative, to experiment, to take risks. In doing so, you reclaim your agency and transform fear into fuel for growth. As you move forward, practice patience. The journey through fear to meaning is not a race but a marathon. It requires endurance, self-compassion, and trust in the process. Celebrate small victories and learn from setbacks. Each step is progress. Remember also the power of ritual and routine. These structures provide stability and predictability, grounding you when the future feels chaotic. Create rituals that nurture your spirit, morning reflections, journaling, moments of silence. These practices cultivate mindfulness and resilience. Lastly, cultivate a sense of wonder. The fear of tomorrow can narrow your vision, but wonder expands it. Look to the stars, the ocean, the changing seasons. Let their vastness remind you of life's mystery and beauty. In wonder, fear softens and meaning blossoms. As Act 1 draws to its close, carry these truths within you. Fear is not the enemy, but a companion. Meaning is not a destination, but a journey. And you are not alone on this path. Step into tomorrow with courage, curiosity, and compassion. Your story unfolds, rich with meaning and possibility. In the silence where fear and hope intertwine, you find the sacred space of transformation. It is here, in this liminal realm between what is and what may be, that the alchemy of meaning takes place. The fear of tomorrow is not a void to be feared, but a crucible to be entered. A place where your raw self is tested, purified, and reshaped. To enter this crucible requires trust. Trust not in certainty, but in your capacity to endure and grow. It demands vulnerability, the courage to show up fully, even when the outcome is unknown. This vulnerability is not weakness but strength. It is the gateway to authenticity and connection. Authenticity emerges when you acknowledge your fears without shame, when you speak your truths even if they tremble. It shines brightest when you allow yourself to be seen, imperfections and all. In authenticity, fear loses its dominion. It becomes a shared human experience rather than a solitary burden. This sharing builds bridges between you and others, between your present self and your future self. Through these bridges, meaning flows. Meaning is a river that connects the islands of your experiences, carrying you forward on the current of purpose. As you navigate this river, remember that meaning is not fixed or static. It shifts and evolves as you grow, just as a river changes its course with the landscape. This fluidity is not a weakness but a testament to life's dynamic nature. Your fear of tomorrow is part of this flow, reminding you to stay present and engaged. It is a signal to remain curious, to explore new possibilities, and to embrace change as a natural companion to growth. Change can be unsettling, but it is also fertile ground for creativity and renewal. By welcoming change, you open yourself to the fullness of life's experience, the joys and sorrows, the gains and losses, the beginnings and endings. Each chapter of your story adds depth and richness to your meaning. The fear of tomorrow asks you to confront endings, not just of days or plans, but of identities and illusions. It challenges you to let go of what no longer serves you and to make space for what is emerging. This process of letting go is often painful but necessary. It clears the path for transformation. In this clearing, you find the seeds of new meaning. Seeds that, with care and patience, will grow into wisdom, compassion, and purpose. As you cultivate these seeds, nurture your spirit with self-compassion. Be gentle with yourself in moments of struggle. Remember that growth is not linear. It includes setbacks and plateaus. These moments are part of the journey, not signs of failure. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and recognize your resilience. In the face of tomorrow's fear, your resilience is a beacon of hope. It shines not because you are fearless, but because you choose to act despite fear. This choice defines your humanity. It is the expression of your freedom, the freedom to find meaning in every circumstance. As this act comes to its close, let these reflections settle deeply within you. Fear and meaning are intertwined threads in the fabric of your life's tapestry. They create a pattern that is uniquely yours. Embrace the complexity, the paradox, and the beauty of this pattern. Step forward into tomorrow with an open heart and a courageous spirit. Your journey of meaning continues, unfolding with each breath, each choice, each moment. The fear of tomorrow is a paradoxical companion. It unsettles and awakens, limits and liberates. In this paradox lies a profound invitation to live not in avoidance, but in courageous embrace, to hold both uncertainty and hope, doubt and faith, fragility and strength, in a delicate balance. This balance is a lifelong practice. It calls you to return again and again to the present moment, to the breath, to the pulse of your own being. It reminds you that the future is not a distant place, but a series of now moments unfolding endlessly. By grounding yourself in these moments, you cultivate a steady presence that anchors you through storms. You learn that fear need not define you. Instead, it can refine you. Consider the metaphor of the diamond, formed under pressure. The process is neither gentle nor quick, yet the result is something of extraordinary beauty and resilience. You too are being formed under the pressures of uncertainty and fear. Your life's meaning is the clarity and brilliance that emerge from this formation. This clarity allows you to see beyond the immediate anxiety and glimpse the larger story in which you play a vital part. This story is not one of predestination, but of authorship. You write it with every choice, every act of courage, every moment of love. When fear arises, ask yourself, what story do I want to tell? What legacy do I wish to leave? These questions shift your focus from what might go wrong to what can go right. They remind you that you are more than your fears. You are the creator of your meaning. As you move forward, surround yourself with reminders of this truth. Seek out stories, art, music, and people who inspire and uplift you. Let these influences nourish your soul and bolster your resolve. Also, cultivate rituals that connect you to your meaning, whether daily meditation, journaling, or simple acts of kindness. Rituals create a rhythm that sustains you amid uncertainty. And remember, it is often through service to others that meaning is most powerfully realized. When you give of yourself, your time, your love, your compassion, you participate in a cycle of meaning that transcends individual fear. Service opens your heart and widens your perspective, revealing the interconnectedness of all beings. In these connections, fear loses its isolating power and transforms into empathy and solidarity. Empathy deepens your understanding of yourself and others, enriching your experience of meaning. As this act draws to a close, hold fast to these truths. Fear is a natural part of the human journey, but it does not have to control you. Meaning is your compass and your shield. By choosing meaning, you claim your freedom to live fully and authentically. Step into tomorrow not with the absence of fear, but with the presence of courage and purpose. Your journey is just beginning. There is a profound wisdom in the way the fear of tomorrow touches every soul. It humbles us, reminding us that despite our plans, ambitions, and control, life remains a mystery. This humility can become a doorway, not to despair, but to grace. Grace is the gentle acceptance of life as it unfolds, with all its imperfections and surprises. It is the tender space where fear and hope coexist, where you can hold your doubts alongside your dreams without being torn apart. In grace, you find freedom from the tyranny of needing to know or control everything. You learn to trust in the unfolding. Even when the path is unclear, this trust does not mean passivity, but an active engagement with life's mystery. It is the courage to say yes to existence, even when the future is uncertain. As you practice grace, you cultivate patience with yourself, with others, and with the process of becoming. Patience softens the harsh edges of fear and opens you to the gentle rhythms of growth. You begin to see that transformation is not a sudden leap, but a slow dance, sometimes forward, sometimes backward, always moving. Within this dance lies the heart of meaning, the ongoing commitment to show up, to learn, to love, and to create. This commitment is your anchor in the storm of tomorrow's fears. It reminds you that meaning is not a fixed destination, but a living journey. This journey is uniquely yours. It carries your signature, your gifts, your struggles. No one else can walk it for you, nor should they. Embrace this solitude not as loneliness, but as sacred space where your soul can unfold. Within this space, you encounter your authentic self, the self that knows both fear and courage, doubt and faith, weakness and strength. Meeting this self with kindness is the foundation of healing and growth. It allows you to transform fear from an adversary into an ally. This transformation is the essence of existential courage. It is the choice to live with openness and vulnerability in the face of the unknown. It is the affirmation that your life has meaning regardless of circumstance. As Act 1 reaches its close, let these reflections rest in your heart. May they serve as a lantern lighting your way through the shadows of fear toward the dawn of meaning. Step forward with grace, courage, and an open heart. Your journey of meaning continues, unfolding with each breath, each choice, each moment. As you stand on the threshold between fear and meaning, take a moment to breathe deeply and feel the vastness within you. This vastness holds the potential for transformation, for a life lived fully and authentically despite uncertainty. Remember that fear is not a barrier but a teacher, a mirror reflecting your deepest values and desires. It invites you to clarify what truly matters, to shed what no longer serves, and to step boldly into your purpose. The path ahead will not be without challenges, but it is also rich with possibility. Each moment offers a new chance to choose meaning over despair, courage over avoidance. Know that this choice is your ultimate freedom, the freedom to author your story, to infuse your life with significance, and to embrace the mystery of tomorrow with an open heart. May you walk this path with grace, resilience, and hope. Your journey toward meaning has only just begun.